PDP leaders vow to reclaim power in 2027. Tambuwal decries defections to APC. Telecom's network failure in Kebbi State sparks growing frustration among residents. NDLEA dismantles trans-border drug syndicate, arrests 4 and seizes millions in illicit drugs. On the international scene, United Nations chief warns Democratic Republic of Congo conflict risk escalating into a regional war. Hello there. Welcome to the news update on Trust TV at this hour. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. The news in detail. We begin with matters of politics, where a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party and former governor of Sokoto State, Senator Aminu Tambuwal, has expressed disappointment over the recent defections of party members to the ruling All Progressives Congress. He described the trend as being driven by stomach infrastructure for personal gains rather than the interests of the people. The report.
Speaking at the PDP Northwest Zonal Executive Council meeting in Kaduna, Tambuwal criticized those aligning with the APC, arguing that their motives are not rooted in public service. He said no politician with a conscience will join the APC given its current policies and economic hardship Nigerians are facing, urging like-minded Nigerians to unite and ensure the APC is voted out in 2027.
Current policies being driven by the government and the current
In a communique read by PDP Northwest Zonal Chairman Bello Gorzo, the party resolved to reclaim its position at the national level and provide the leadership needed to move the country forward. The statement emphasized addressing internal conflict and urged party members to remain patient and heed the advice of elders in order to secure success in the 2027 elections.
The result is follows: that the PDP of the Northern Zone should take its rightful position in the national stage by providing leadership in a way to forward the country.
The meeting was attended by prominent PDP leaders, including former Kaduna State Governor Senator Ahmed Makarfi, Senator Ibrahim Shekaro, PDP National Youth Leader Bello Gorzo, Zonal Chairman Sulalamido, and House of Representatives member Ango Abdullahi, among others. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, residents of Kebbi State are expressing growing concerns over the deteriorating state of telecom's network services. According to them, the persistent poor network connectivity is disrupting daily activities and causing widespread frustration, and calling in the service providers to address the issue. The report.
Residents of Kebbi State are increasingly voicing their dissatisfaction with what they describe as unbearable network challenges affecting both mobile and internet services. For weeks, communities across the state have struggled with weak signals, dropped calls, and slow internet speeds. This situation has left many residents unable to make important phone calls, conduct business transactions, or access essential online services. Local traders report that the poor network is hindering their businesses as they rely heavily on mobile transfers.
These days, the network is very bad. Like today, I bought some goods. For me to transfer money, it was very difficult. Since morning, I've been waiting for the network, but it's not working. So these days, the network is very bad. In fact, it's affecting our business. You can see everywhere is quiet, because even when customers come in, when they buy goods, for them to transfer money, it's very difficult. So we are not finding it easy at all.
You are not enjoying the services. When you communicate, you cannot even communicate. When you call someone, you will not hear him, and sometimes he will not hear you. So actually, we are not enjoying the services now after this increase. So we are calling on the federal government to come in and see how they are going to solve this type of problem, because every daily life of Nigerians today go with this communication.
Civil society organizations are urging network providers and relevant authorities to intervene urgently and ensure that residents of Kebbi State have access to reliable communication services.
Well, it's not an issue of calling to government. It's an issue that we need to be sincere in all that we are doing. The government knew what it's supposed to do, because there are policies that are governing these communication companies, that we need these policies, because there is no way you can hike a price of a commodity without improving its quality. We need to have a quality services of these network providers.
As residents continue to hope for improvement, the message is clear: better network coverage is not a luxury, but a necessity. From Birnin Kebbi, Cynthia Yongo, Trust TV.
And now to security matters. Police operatives have killed 7 suspected terrorists as part of efforts geared towards tackling insecurity in the country. The suspects were killed in special operations in Kebbi and Imo states, according to the force spokesman, Muyiwa Adejobi. Adejobi, in a statement, said gunmen invaded Gobi Raje village in Suru local government area of Kebbi state and kidnapped one Umaru Bawa. He said following receipt of the information, police operatives attached to the Kebbi State Command trailed the suspects to Tundavari Forest in the Dakingari axis of the state and engaged them in a fierce gun duel. According to Adejobi, 4 of the kidnappers were neutralized and 1 arrested with fatal injuries, while the kidnapped victim was rescued unhurt. The operatives also recovered 3 million naira cash already paid to the kidnappers as ransom. Similarly, police operatives killed 2 suspected members of the Eastern Security Network in Ezioha Mbaitolu within the Umwele Umwaka Njaba local government area of Imo State. Also, the kidnapped Catholic priest, Reverend Maurice Levinus, and 2 other persons whose identities were not disclosed have regained their freedom. Reverend Father Maurice, who is the parish priest of St. Patrick's Catholic Isokbo in Ikwere local government area of the state, was abducted last week Wednesday alongside 2 others while they were returning from a hospital visitation along Elele Isiokbo Road in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State. Rivers State Police Command Public Relations Officer SP Grace Iringe Koko, in a press statement issued in Port Harcourt on Sunday, said the priest and the 2 other abducted persons were freed by the combined efforts of the security team comprising policemen, soldiers from JTF, Isokbo and Leku Vigilante. Koko said the victims have been reunited with their families for medical attention, while efforts are ongoing to arrest the culprits. Now, irate youth have reportedly set fire at the police division in Ifo at Ose local government area of Ondo State following the death of a young boy who was allegedly tortured to death in police custody. Although the tragic incident occurred on Saturday evening, details were still sketchy. Sources in Ifo, a community sharing border town with Edo State, said the death of the boy led to a protest among residents and friends of the deceased. One of the sources who spoke in confidence on Sunday said the incident stemmed from a crisis that occurred on Valentine's Day between some group of young boys in the town. He said the protesters mobilized to the police station after learning about the victim's death, who was earlier arrested by the police and set the building ablaze. When contacted, Fumilayo Odunlami Omisanya, police public relations officer in the state, confirmed the incident, saying more policemen have been drafted to the town. As the country continues to face significant security challenges, which require ongoing investment and strategic planning. Nigeria's Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala, has lauded the efforts by the federal government to enhance personnel welfare by addressing long-standing infrastructure challenges in military barracks. Speaking after commissioning 9 blocks of accommodation for airmen and officers at the once dilapidated 455 NAF base in Kano, he emphasized the need for a motivated force through welfare improvements and infrastructure renewal.
That's the man in any system, whether be it civilian or military, the human being is the most important element. If the human being is adequately taken care of, his welfare is taken care of, then that system, even with other peripheral problems, will succeed. For us, we are experiencing what I call a golden era, because we have recently acquired a lot of systems, platforms, additional capabilities which we did not have in the past. And because of this, you can see the reflection in all our theaters of operations, all the recent successes. If I've been following what is happening, we have achieved tremendous successes in all the theaters of operations, starting from the south-south, southeast, the northeast, northwest, even north-central. Tremendous successes. And we owe this to the tremendous support that we get from Mr. President.
More on security matters. The 6th Division of the Nigeria Army says its troops, in conjunction with other security agencies, have deactivated 25 illegal refineries and recovered about 95,000 liters of stolen crude oil in its various operations in the Niger Delta region. Lieutenant Colonel Jonah Danjuma, the division's Deputy Director of Public Relations, in a statement issued in Port Harcourt at the weekend, said the troops in the operation conducted between 10th to 16th February 2025 led to the arrest of 12 suspected oil thieves, the activation of 25 illegal refining sites, the mobilization of 18 boats used for criminality with over 95,000 liters of stolen crude recovered. Jonah said many ancillary equipments were destroyed at the sites during the operation. According to Jonah, in Delta State, troops projected force into Bennett Island General Area in Warri Southwest Local Government Area, where 3 active illegal refining sites were deactivated, with several holding facilities destroyed and over 6,300 liters of stolen crude confiscated. In Bayelsa State, Jonah around Etelabu Forest in Yenagua, troops swooped on a newly established illegal refining site with over 1,000 liters of stolen crude recovered. And now, away from that, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says it has dismantled a trans-border drug trafficking syndicate, arrested 4 suspects, and seized millions of naira worth of illicit drugs during a series of intelligence-led operations across Nigeria. A statement by the Director, Media and Advocacy, NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, said operatives of the agency intercepted a Sienna bus on the Nasarawa Toto Road in Kebbi, Nasarawa State, and arrested 2 suspects, Zaharaddin Adamu, 27, and Abubakar Usman, 44, after their vehicle was found to be carrying 190,960 pills of tramadol concealed in specially constructed steel compartments in the bus's bumper and false bottom. In a separate operation on February 4, 2025, NDLEA said its operatives at the Abaji checkpoint in the Federal Capital Territory arrested 32-year-old Chimezie Henry Ojingwa after 404.47 grams of methamphetamine, 506.49 grams of loud, and 262.32 grams of dimethyl sulfone, a meth precursor, were found concealed in motor spare parts. The statement added that on February 13, officers in Cross River State intercepted 170,000 tramadol pills in a truck driven by Paul Chukwudi, 31, along the Ogoja-Abakaliki Road. At the Apapa Seaport in Lagos, a container imported from India was found to contain 85,400 bottles of codeine-based syrup. Further drug busts occurred on February 14, 2025, where two suspects, Halilu Isa and Gambo Umaru, were arrested with 72 kilograms of skunk, a form of cannabis, in Maiduguri, Borno State. You're watching the news update on Trust TV, coming up shortly. Declining food prices in Lagos markets offer small relief amid ongoing cost of living pressures. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Here is a recap of some of our top stories. I told you that the People's Democratic Party leaders vow to reclaim power in 2027. Tambuwal decries defections to APC. You also heard telecoms network failure in Kebbi State sparks growing frustration among residents. Two more stories. The federal government has vowed to probe the alleged hoarding of relief materials meant for internally displaced persons at the Durumi camp in Abuja. The Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Aliyu Ahmed, disclosed this after uncovering relief supplies hoarded inside classrooms at the Durumi IDP camp in Abuja. Ahmed, who was at the Durumi camp to inaugurate a computer center donated by Brand Life Vision Foundation, embarked on an inspection of the camp and discovered that food and non-food items meant for distribution to the IDPs were being stored in classrooms instead. The commissioner announced plans to set up a committee to investigate similar cases in other IDP camps across the country. The commission, who assured the IDPs of the government's continued commitment to their welfare, also pledged to continue supporting the IDPs' education by working with the Universal Basic Education Commission to provide teachers for displaced children. Recently, Nigerians have observed some decreases in food prices, but many households and businesses continue to express concerns about the cost of living. Staple foods like rice, gari, beans, and onions have seen significant price reductions in several markets, particularly major markets in Lagos State. Victoria Tokolo's report is presented from our studio.
In a nation where food constitutes a substantial portion of household spending, the rising cost of food costs has become a serious burden. Many Nigerians who once enjoyed regular meals now face unstable prices, making it difficult to afford nutritious meals. Family heads who spoke with Trust TV lamented the current economic situation and its impact on the ability to provide proper meals for their families.
The present government, I said it when they started their policy, most of their policy could have been a better policy, but not under this present situation where even to feed one time a day, initially we used to feed 101, but even now to feed one time a day is very difficult. Or you could feed yourself once a day, something you have to think about. Those of us who have job, who are working, can no longer even get job from our clients.
It's only God that can help us in Nigeria. We don't know what our president, everyone, what they are doing, because since over 2 years, like getting to 2 years, it's not easy. It's not easy to feed. Even to feed only your mouth is not easy. Let of we that you are feeding family, pay for school fees, is not easy. It's not easy.
Despite the widespread concerns about high food prices, a visit to several Lagos markets, including Oba Ogunji Market and Sangwage Market, revealed that traders are reporting a decline in the prices of some food items while others remain expensive.
I remember that the prices of foodstuff, especially the beans and the rice, they are coming down now, at least than before, that they are very, very on the high side. So now the price of foodstuff is down compared to before. Just like you can see we are measuring like with Derica and paint also. So formerly paint of beans is 12,000, but now you can get it 7,065.
We sold, let's talk of this red oil. Red oil is 2,000 naira before. For now, we are selling it, let's say 1817. This 25 liter, we sold the keg, we sold 100 plus. But now it's around 80 something. So some little things are still coming down. While some, when we talk of rice, it comes down a little bit. Oil is coming down a little bit.
So I'm selling fish. My fish is expensive more than before. Everything is there expensive. Before I used to buy 1 carton of fish, maybe 50,000, 40,000. Now 120,000, 100,000. I'm using money to buy 3 carton. Now I'm using it to buy 1 carton now.
Food inflation in Nigeria is not only putting pressure on households, but also altering customer behavior. Many citizens have been forced to reduce their portion sizes or eliminate certain foods from their diets altogether. Market traders are therefore calling on the government to ensure that the prices of all food items decrease and stabilize, allowing citizens to afford adequate nutrition for themselves and their families.
And now to developments away from Nigeria. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says a regional escalation of the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo must be avoided at all costs. Guterres was speaking at the Africa Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The AU's 55 members are meeting as the Rwanda-backed M23 fighters continue their advance in the eastern DRC on Friday, claiming to have entered the region's second-largest city, Bukavu. Guterres was quoted as saying there is no military solution. The deadlock must end. The dialogue must begin, and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the DRC must be respected. In recent weeks, M23 rebels have captured swath of the DRC's mineral-rich eastern region, including the key city of Goma, capital of North Kivu province, with international pressure mounting on Rwanda to curb the fighting in eastern DRC. The conflict was set to dominate the summit at AU headquarters in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa.
In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Congolese people have been suffering yet again from a brutal cycle of violence. And the fighting that is raging in South Kivu as a result of the continuation of the M23 offensive threatens to push the entire region over the precipice. Regional escalation must be avoided at all costs. There is no military solution. The deadlock must end, the dialogue must begin, and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the DRC must be respected.
And lastly, in sports, former Nigerian international Dosu Joseph says he is optimistic the Flying Eagles will progress to the knockout stages of the 2025 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations following the official draw conducted by the Confederation of African Football. The seven-time champions will face Egypt, South Africa and Morocco in Group B of the tournament, scheduled to take place in Côte d'Ivoire from April 26 to May 18. In a chart, the Atlanta Olympic Game medalist stated that the Flying Eagles will conquer the opponents. He was quoted as saying there is no doubt that the Flying Eagles will definitely face a difficult task against Egypt, Morocco and South Africa in Group B. However, I am very optimistic that Nigeria will progress from the group to the knockout stages. The teams in our group know very well that Nigeria is a team to beat. End of quote. On that note, that's about it on the news update on Trust TV at this moment. Enough of it. You can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you for watching.